Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Religious Freedom Talk Show. Today we will be talking about George Washington's letter to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, Rhode Island in 1790 and Sikhism religion and how they relate to religious freedom. To start this talk out, we are bringing in a guest speaker today to talk about George Washington's letter to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, Rhode Island in 1790. Our guest today is very knowledgeable of this letter because he wrote it. Please give a big round of applause for George Washington.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for inviting me here today. As Vicky said, I wrote a letter in 1790 to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, Rhode Island. In the letter, there are many things that concern religious freedom. One of those things is that the law will not go against one's right to exercise one's religion, and religious toleration is for everyone in the United States. It states that the government of the United States will protect people from religious persecution as long as they are good citizens. This is said with these words in the letter. It is now no more that toleration is spoken of as if it were the indulgence of one class of people that another enjoyed the exercise of their inherent natural rights. For, happily, the government of the United States, which gives to bigot right no sanction, to persecution no assistance, requires only that they who live under its protection should demean themselves as good citizens in giving it on all occasions their effectual support. Another point about my letter is that it became a foundation stone for separation of church and state. In the letter I wrote of an ideal relationship between the government and its citizens, saying, "May the children of the stock of Abraham, who dwell in this land, continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of the other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid." That was the relationship I wanted between the government and its citizens. It also means everyone should enjoy the freedoms of the United States equally and tolerate other religions and let them worship in their places of worship as they please and not have fear of persecution from the government or other citizens, and in return they will not cause the government or other citizens to fear them.
Thank you, George Washington, for your words of wisdom. Another round of applause for George Washington, please. Our next speaker is a writer, here to talk about how the Sikhs' religious freedom has been limited and how this limitation has gone against George Washington's letter, which we talked about earlier, and what was done about this limitation. Please give a warm welcome to John Nichols.
Hello, everyone. Well, the Sikhs have been in America for the better part of 2 centuries. Sikhism preaches tolerance and places high emphasis on the protection of the religious and political rights of all people, much like George Washington wrote in his letter. Though the Sikh faith is the 5th largest religion in the world, its followers are sometimes confused for Muslims and targeted with the same sorts of discrimination and violence. Since September 11, 2001, the Sikh Coalition, the largest civil rights group in the United States, says it has received a multitude of requests for help from the Sikh community because of discrimination, hate crimes and school bullying. Furthermore, on Sunday, August 5, 2012, not long ago in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, a horrific shooting took place at the Sikh temple, leaving 7 dead, and leaving the Sikh community living in fear. This goes against what George Washington said in his letter. He did not want any peaceful religious groups in America to be persecuted through no fault of their own. George Washington meant for the government to protect religious groups from persecution, and so far the government hasn't done much at all to help the Sikh, except for a statement from Obama saying, "As we mourn this loss which took place at the house of worship, we are reminded how much our country has been enriched by the Sikhs, who are a part of our broader American family." More should be done. The government is not living up to what George Washington proposed in his letter. The religious freedoms of the Sikh are not being protected, and therefore they are not free to worship in peace in their places of worship because they are being attacked and threatened there. Other people besides the government have been trying to help by educating others about the Sikh faith so they are not mistaken for Muslims, in an attempt to lessen the amount of persecution against them.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols, for coming here today to talk with everyone about their issues. For those of you that may have missed some of today's show, this is what I want you to know. The government and its people are not properly protecting the religious freedom of the citizens of the United States, as set forth by the letter George Washington wrote to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, Rhode Island in 1790. A perfect example is the unprovoked persecution of the Sikh people. No peaceful religious community should be living in fear because the government failed to protect them from persecution. The citizens of the United States need to be educated more about these matters. They should read and remember the wise words of George Washington. Our country was meant to save people from religious persecution, not to let innocent people get murdered because of it. Everyone should be able to worship in peace, as the letter says. May the children of the stock of Abraham, who dwell in this land, continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of the other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid. If anything, please remember that. Thank you for watching. Have a good day, everyone.